Hello, it's Fabio Malaspina with Patrice on the Fly. Today I'll show you to tie the Royal Wulff dry fly. Hope you enjoy the video, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, when I tie the Royal Wulff, I already put a hook in my vise. This is a Daiichi 1180, size 10. You can go down to size 20 as you tie this fly. I'm going to use some black thread, size 80. I'm going to lay a base of thread about 1/3 of the hook shank. And again, I'm going to stop about 1/3 away from the eyelet of the hook. I'm going to cut the excess of the thread off. Then I'm going to get some calf body hair in white. I'm going to cut a chunk from the hide. One second, this is pretty slippery material. Just about how much I cut. I'm gonna hold it by the tips, and I'm gonna pull as many of these short fibers away. And I'm gonna grab the material and put it into my air stacker, and I'm gonna stack this up. I'm gonna stack it for a little while. And I open my air stacker, grab the air by the tips. I'm gonna still see if there's any loose fibers. Then I'm gonna lay this, we want this about the length of the hook shank. I'm gonna grab the air between my thumb and index finger. And tie it down over the hook shank. Like so. I'm gonna raise these, the butt ends, and cut them at an angle, like so. Make sure that these are all cinched down here. Okay, and then I'm gonna build a demo thread right in front of here. So that the hair eventually will stand up. Like so. Then I'm going to do my best to split this clump of hair in 2 parts. I'm gonna go over with my thread to separate this calf body hair to create two individual wings, like so. So you can see what I've done there. I'm gonna keep working on these, building these 2 winglets. And the more wraps you make, these X cross wraps, it will help get the bundle of hair together. I'm gonna make a couple of wraps around to make him stand up a little more. Again, this is probably the most delicate part of this tying this fly, but you know, take your time. Anyways, you see what I've done there. They're separate. So now I'm gonna bring my thread forward. And I'm gonna cinch down and and lock in place is one of those loose fibers. Then I'm going to get some mousse body air. I'm gonna get 7-8 fibers. I'm gonna cut them from the hide. I'm gonna stack these as well. And we're gonna use this material to build the tail of the fly. So I put them in my stacker. I'm gonna stack them. I'm gonna open my air stacker. Grab those fibers by the tips. Line them up on top of the hook shank. Make a couple of loose wraps to keep them in place. Then I can pull them to adjust the length. I want these to be about the length of the hook shank. Then I'm going to secure them. Make sure I secure them over the hook shank, like so. I'm going to go in with my scissors and cut those butt ends. So now we got the tail in place. I'm going to move my thread back to where the tails begin. Then I'm going to get 2 Peacock herl fibers. I'm going to cut the tips so I have a good uniform time point, and I'm going to secure these again at the base of that tail, like so. One came loose. I'm going to tie the other one in place as well. Alrighty, so now I'm going to spin these together to sort of make a little rope of Peacock herl. I'm going to move my thread forward. And I'm going to go over it, I don't know, three or four times. Then I'm going to secure the Peacock herl with 2 or 3 thread wraps, like so. I'm going to lift the Peacock herl and cut it off. Then I'm going to get some Unifloss in red, 2 or 3 inches. And we're going to use this to build a hot spot. So I'm going to secure this like that. And then I'm going to start polymering it. And again, we're going to use this to build a red hot spot. And I'm going to go back and forward a couple of times. You can, hold the floss with your fingers like I'm doing, but probably the smartest thing to do would be to use Hackle pliers, which I'm going to do now. It's pretty all these materials are pretty slippery. Alrighty, so I'm going to go with my thread a couple of times. Keep that floss in place. And then I'm going to reach in with my scissors and cut the excess of the floss, like so. I'm going to grab those 2 Peacock herls that I used earlier. Make sure the tips are aligned. And then secure those with a couple of thread wraps. Again, spin them to build a peacock or little rope, and then go over 2 or 3 times like so. And then I'm gonna go over with my thread 2 or 3 times and cut the excess off. Like so. Then I'm gonna get a couple of brown saddle hackles. Already I found a couple that are about the same size. I'm going to peel the fluff off. Like so. I'm going to align them so make sure they curve the same way. I'm gonna cut the these butt ends so I have a tying point. Okay, so now I'm gonna tie down these hackle. I'm gonna tie the stem down along the hook shank, and then I'm gonna bring my thread forward. Then I'm gonna grab these hackles, the tip of these hackles with my hackle pliers, like so. I'm gonna start palmering them, making some loops, turns behind the wing. And then I'm gonna go in front of the wing, making sure I don't trap the calf hair. Like so. Then I'm gonna go with my thread over those hackle tips a few times. I'm gonna reach in with my scissors, cut those hackle tips. I am going to get my bodkin. I'm going to use the end of my bodkin, which is a hole, and then I'm going to use that to push the air back. And finish the fly. Like so. I'm going to cut the thread off. And there we have it. We have the completed the Royal Wulff. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week.